came out. So, well, not really.
Front page of the Post, trumped up. Case against ex-president's company isn't about justice, it's a political show trial. That's going to be sort of the theme for today's show, is this mega persecution that is going on. And I got to say, Soros, you are a worthy adversary. Good work. You know how they say, not today, Satan? Today, Satan. You got me. You're good. He has almost single-handedly destroyed the American justice system. I was just talking to John Kinsman's wife, Zanoa, and I told her about that judge in White Plains that threw out the case of the gangbanger shooting someone because the jury was all white, so that means they're racist, and that means he didn't get a fair trial. And I go, okay, these are the new rules. You're moving the goalposts. I'll go with you to these new goalposts. Max and John's appeal had an all non-white jury. Judges. It was 3 black women. They're what? Black women are what? 7% of the population? Yet they were 75% of the judges. And then there was a Chinese guy who just wandered off. He left during the appeal. So let's say 3 black women were present. Is that, you said it can't be monoracial. Okay. So they didn't get a fair trial. He's getting so fucking screwed these days. The FBI went into his cell and they said, what did you know about Jan 6? And did you help plan the insurrection? And he goes, I'm in prison. I don't know if you've looked around. This is a cell. They didn't literally come to his cell. They had a meeting with him in a fucking room. He goes, yeah, I'm in prison, guys. And they go, are you going to resume your leadership roles when you get out? What? I was a leader, was I? Like, do you guys, do you Google? And so they said, you better not, whatever. And then you know what happened to him? Someone sees he drew a Proud Boy picture. He does a lot of art now. We don't sell it anymore because it shut down payment processors, and no one wants John's black family to get money because he's racist. See how that works? And they saw the picture. It was just a guy in a Fred Perry. So they cut off his early time. He was going to get off 6 months early from taking all these classes and stuff. They just threw it in the garbage. And then I said, well, let's sue them. And she goes, no. Maybe when he gets out. But when you start, especially at Bear Hill where he is, when you start saying I have rights, they fuck you hard because you don't. So, you know, if we took them to trial now, they'd make his life a living hell in there. We'll have to deal with it when he gets out. But that's political persecution is what's going on there. And that's what this is. Do you know what the charge is? His CFO had the company that he was working at was paying for things like a trip or tuition or a car or something, and they were expensing it to the company. You know, like everyone does. I'm John Mulaney all of a sudden.
You know, like everyone does.
You know, like when electricians go to Florida and his company pays for the trip. I remember when I was a kid, my dad would say, ask me about the company. I go, what? Ask me about CDC, Computing Devices Canada. Ask me about CDC. Is CDC nice? He's like, it's reasonable. All right, there, we can write it off. And then the company would pay for our lunch. But what Soros did was he started funding all of these DAs, and he all over the country. So now when these trials happen, the MAGA people are persecuted and the Antifa guys go free. That's a Soros thing. Hey, look up Cyrus Vance and Soros, because the Manhattan DA is Cyrus Vance, and he's behind all of this shit. So I wouldn't be surprised if Soros, when I say Soros appointed, what I mean is he pours money into the campaign and then they end up winning. And then you have a woke justice system, which it doesn't sound that terrible when you first hear about it. You're like, oh, well, so a murderer will have to go to jail and the jury is still going to find him guilty if he murdered the person, the DNA evidence, whatever. Yeah, but if anything is remotely political, the justice system snuffs them out. Now you have power. Oh my God, is Cyrus Vance on this list? I said look up Cyrus Vance.
I did. Well, this article came up.
Okay, now do a search for the word Cyrus. What the fuck? Equally disconcerting, these Trojan horse prosecutors drop any pretense of impartiality. They bring a highly charged political viewpoint to an office that's supposed to be apolitical. It's no wonder Soros funded prosecutors like New York Attorney General Letitia James and Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Vance Jr. have harassed President Trump with never-ending investigations and subpoenas. AG James is also trying to disband the NRA. Like Captain Ahab chasing after the white whale, they are obsessed with undermining the president and ultimately our nation. Whoa. Mind blown. We just discovered a scoop live together. So he's the guy that's doing this. This is Cyrus Vance is behind this. And he's behind Max and John. Isn't that a trip? Yeah. Speaking of political persecution, we'll get back into Max and John in a second, but this suit's bothering me a little bit. Mercedes has COVID, right? Now, I'm convinced Mercedes is innocent. Can you come over here and flip that viewfinder? It's distracting me. I'm convinced Mercedes is innocent, and I'm convinced that her persecution is political. So they threw her in jail, threw away the key. What? Yeah. Why do you need to be told that 3 times and then ask questions about it?
Because you've historically never wanted it facing you.
Yes, I've always wanted it facing me.
And then you said that was too distracting. I could pull up the tapes.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
Yeah.
See, I know why I like to face the viewfinder, because it makes my eyes look at the camera more and not the monitor.
There was a period, the most recent period was flip it away from me.
You're wrong.
I promise. All right.
Promise you're wrong. Anyway, so she's thrown in there, awaiting trial. You know, you can wait for your trial for 5 years. And that's what she's doing, rotting in jail, which is worse than rotting in prison. You're only supposed to be there temporarily. It's more violent in jail. Prison is better. And she doesn't have the right to go to prison yet. She doesn't have a trial. She can't defend herself. And then she gets COVID. So she'll have to see the top doctor at the San Bernardino County prison, right? Jail. Guess who that is? That's Dr. Louis Tran, her ex. Who hates her guts because she left him. So she's in a screaming panic that she's going to get killed. Look up Dr. Louis, Luis, Tran.
Is that it?
Tran. And then like prison or something. See, this is... So controlling the justice system is more than just controlling a couple guys who did a bad thing in court. Louis Tran, yeah? Yeah, I think that's him. So she's going to end up there with the guy she dumped.
Yep, California, Dr. Louis
Oh,
Tran.
I was spelling it wrong. Or the guy that texted me spelled it wrong. So now spell it right. Cut and paste it. It's L-O, yeah. It's not very hot. How did he get Mercedes? So that's what happens. And now your enemies are in prison. You have your paramilitary wing, your Antifa. They go around vandalizing the country. And if anyone stands up to them, you can put them in prison because you have Cyrus Vance. And he doesn't just stop it. He goes all the way from the bottom, Max and John, to the former president of the United States, Donald Trump. It's genius. It's a great chess move. You do it stealthily behind the backs. Someone goes, this billionaire is funding campaigns for DAs. Okay, that doesn't sound so bad. Yeah, it is. It's the end of the justice system. And as this is going on, of course, Trump is asking questions. Like he just tweeted out, he said, who shot Ashley Babbitt? Now, he must know it's Mike, what's his name, Bird? Yeah, that's 1-4. So he's aware of what's going on, Trump. He's aware that he's part of a political witch hunt, and we're all in the same boat. Joe Biggs and Trump are in the same boat, and they have the same Soros-funded backer, Cyrus Vance. It goes Cuomo, Cyrus Vance, Steinglass. Steinglass is the actual DA. Who shot Ashley Babbitt, wrote Trump on Thursday afternoon. Now everyone knows, right? Look at this. There's Joe Biggs. I said they're on the same page, right? They're literally on the same page. There's Joe, and if you scroll up, there's Trump. Huh. Isn't that crazy? What a relevant show we are. Wow. Now go see. Let's see who it is. Wait. Oh yeah, 1-7. I don't know why I stuffed it all the way down to 1-7. Capitol Copper murder Ashley Babbitt identified as Michael Leroy Bird. Let's have a look at him. Can you imagine if the races were reversed? Let's see some more. He's a real snazzy dresser, isn't he? Look at the pocket squares. The identified Ashley Babbitt's shooter is Lieutenant Michael Leroy Bird. Multiple mainstream media outlets have known this, but they refuse to run the story. Why? Because he's black. Derek Chauvin, 22 years. Black guy, black cop shoots that white woman who called 911. He gets 12.
The why of things.
Our justice system is woke. It's bullshit, and it sucks because of George Soros' intervention. They talk about election meddling. How about justice meddling? He's altered American justice permanently. I was so naive. I thought that, well, first of all, I thought the FBI and the CIA were really cool and they got the job done. And if you met someone from the FBI, you'd be like, oh, shit, this guy's a badass. He's James Bond. Now I see them as the DMV, a bunch of retarded clowns. We're going to go visit John Kinsman in Bear Hill and see if we can get to the bottom of this insurrection thing. Nice work, guys. But secondly, I thought, judges are getting woke. I guess it's all that PC shit in college finally, blossoming. It's like cicadas, 17 years after PC, they're in the courts. But no, it's purposeful meddling. Little side note here. I hate when people say purposefully, okay? Purposefully is like, say you're setting up dominoes, right? You're purposefully putting each domino carefully in a row. Different from purposely. Purposely, you're just doing it on purpose. But not only do they do it on purpose, but they purposefully sat there planting DAs all over the country so they could control justice. And Soros could decide who goes to jail and for how long. What a better way. Like, lawfare was his previous thing. I believe Ezra Levant wrote an article in The Sun, and I believe that Soros then embroiled Ezra in lawfare for decades. And that's effective. You bankrupt people, you ruin their lives, you stress them out, you give them cancer. And that's what they did to Roger Stone. But with Roger Stone, they decided to up it one more and go, no, let's actually throw him in prison. And the only reason he got out is because the president of the United States, the most powerful man in the world, said, don't put him in prison. They're still fucking with him like crazy. Now he bought a house. I don't know how he afforded it. Maybe someone bought it for him. And now they're investigating that. It's MAGA persecution. I saw this was interesting, speaking of MAGA persecution. Some ex-senator said she started a new July 4th tradition. July 4th is a day we celebrate independence, right? What was it? Congress of 13 states said we are going to we hereby declare, in the middle of a war, we hereby declare independence. That's what it's about. It's about the founding fathers. It's about John Hancock and all that stuff. They really put it together fast, too. They declared it the independence tomorrow, July 2nd. No, today. What's the date today? It must be July 2nd, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because yesterday was Canada Day.
Yep. The day of Canada's birthday.
So they declared independence July 2nd. 2 days later, they had the whole bill written up. The Declaration of Independence, done, signed. That was the days. That's when young people were politicians. Those guys were all like 20.
What? Really?
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit.
And you know what's weird? About half a dozen of them died on various July 4ths.
Ooh.
That's got to be from partying, right?
Yeah, actually, now that you say it, I thought it was ominous, but now, yes.
I love celebrating July 4th. I'm an immigrant who's happy to be here, but imagine you are the guy behind it.
I am July 4th.
I am July 4th. It's my birthday. So you're going to get shithoused.
So it's not...
Spooky.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No. Otherwise, that could have been some...
It's not like the whole cast of Poltergeist dying. That's spooky.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, 1-5, new July 4th tradition.
We're going to start a new family tradition in my family on the 4th of July, and every 4th of July going forward, we're going to watch that video that the New York Times put together of January 6th.
All right, Claire McCaskill, have a great 4th of July to you and your family. Joe, same to you. We will see all into this 4th of July weekend.
That would be great if you just went, all right, you're a mental bitch.
And her last appearance.
Did you notice what happened there? This was in the tweet. This is a great guy to follow, by the way. The guy who tweeted the 1-7. Oh, no.
Arthur Bloom?
Yeah, Arthur Bloom. Well, they'll have to watch the NYT Supercut, because if they watch the 10 or so relevant minutes of the Jaden X footage, they probably wouldn't reach the same conclusions McCaskill wants them to. So, just to be clear here, the only way she can get her narrative is to watch a carefully edited supercut by a liberal newspaper. That's how she gets her narrative. That's how it works. We, of course, have seen piles of other footage, including Jaden X is John Sullivan. That's the Antifa guy who went in there and egged Ashley Babbitt on and said, go, 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 through the window when then she was then shot by a black guy. You want to play race? We can play race. And then we also have all the footage of guys just meandering in. Hey, man, what's up? Oh, hey, I got shot in the face with a rubber bullet. Oh, shit. And then the cops, remember that footage? The cops come in.
Yeah.
Could you guys get out of here?
He's like, yeah, we were just cleaning things up, actually. And
We're just trying to make sure no one damages anything.
And then, I think Stop Hate, they put together a whole thing of people stopping literally Antifa members, like guys dressed in all black. And they were like, fuck Antifa. They're shouting this stuff. And then like they're trying to break the windows. There's like a lot of
You have footage of Antifa breaking the windows.
Yeah,
there's footage of
guys that they keep following. They're like, this is the same guy.
Dude, why are you always blurry?
Maybe because I move. You know why? I think because when I move my mic, now I have to go over here, but now this should be good. Right?
And why are you dressed exactly like the puppet from Arrested Development?
Bluth?
Yeah. Remember yesterday we showed him, and I said, you even dressed like him. Or maybe this was the July 4th pre-tape, so that might confuse people. And then you show up to work today dressed like that puppet, not knowing.
Yeah.
And by the way, that puppet...
What's this? Just practicing my testimony.
Is meant to annoy your eyes.
You think so?
I know so.
I ain't your daddy. How's it going, brother?
This is
Pop
great.
the trunk and roll the windows down, please. I'm just messing with you. Hey, Franklin, how you doing, little man?
Put a handkerchief.
The little hand really
Little Hand
kills
is
me.
great comic
My
timing.
God. I've never seen that show. I've been recommended it a lot.
I made Will Arnett do a spit take once in Vegas.
That's hard to do.
We were playing blackjack with the meanest blackjack dealer you've ever, the grumpiest, shittiest, most sullen blackjack dealer I've ever dealt with. And I was like, hey, can I ask you a question? Uh-huh. How did you get the nickname Mr. Grumpy?
I hope it was a spit take. I just
Really?
took a sip of my Red Bull, not even thinking about that. Yeah, that was close.
Speaking of globalists running our country into the ground, look at 1-6. This is disturbing. So they've got this grandma. She's only 49, which means they really churn them out young in Indiana. So scroll down in this article to this sort of, there we go. In a letter to the judge asking for lenience, she was the first one to be prosecuted, by the way, and she got a very lenient sentence. I think she just has probation. So this is the first charge, but the judge goes, I want you to know that this is not indicative of the upcoming charges. Don't think we're going to be lenient with all of them, but they are lenient with this one. Why? Because the globalists sent her to re-education camp, and she has been cleansed. It's a gulag. We have gulags. We have re-education camps. In a letter to the judge asking for leniency, Lloyd wrote that she was a registered Democrat, but that she and her husband began supporting Trump in 2016 because he was standing up for what we believe in. After her arrest, Lloyd's lawyer gave her a list of books and movies to, quote, help her see what life is like for others in our country. Lloyd wrote. No, go back. Oh, yeah. Lloyd said she has sought to educate herself by watching movies such as Schindler's List and the History Channel's Burning Tulsa and reading Bryan Stevenson's Just Mercy. I've lived a sheltered life and truly haven't experienced life the way many have, Lloyd wrote. I've learned that even though we live in a wonderful country, things still need to improve. People of all colors should feel as safe as I do to walk down the street. This is the Soviet Union. Ask Alexander Solzhenitsyn, who I was wrong. He's not alive. He died in 2004 or something like that. Can't remember when. In the Soviet Union, if you committed wrongthink, you would go to a re-education camp. Sometimes, not only would you go to re-education camp, but you'd also have to do hard labor for like 3 or 4 months, and then you'd come back and be reintegrated into society, having meted out your punishment, which is exactly like that Marine who called in, or maybe he wasn't a Marine, sergeant, whatever, that military dude, who said, I don't think women belong in the military. He was stripped of his rank and forced to do, 60 days hard labor? And then he could quit. Or he was going to go to prison. That's not similar to a gulag. That is verbatim, literally what a gulag is. So he goes into the post office and he says, I'm going to film this. And by the way, that black guy was supposed to be at the fireworks store at noon. And now it's 2:30.
Are you saying he's a little late?
I'm just saying.
Okay.
When a stereotype becomes something, it's become something. So he goes to the post office and he does all this shit, and it's annoying, but I get it. He calls himself a free speech auditor. Okay, not my cup of tea. I don't like bugging people who are working blue-collar jobs. But they caught him. He was at the insurrection. Seekonk man arrested for taking part in Capitol insurrection. He's a First Amendment auditor who works with Josh Abrams and other TB famous ratchets. I don't know what TB means. But nice work, FBI, CIA. You caught them. You're really rounding up those meanderers. One day they'll get all the old grandmas to watch movies and read books and be punished with probation for the sin of the January 6th meandering. I mean, does anyone else see this? I don't think so, right? Like that Vanity Fair hit piece is all about how my horrible words can be linked to that terror that was the insurrection. How many? That's some data I'd like to see. How many Americans think it was a cataclysmic, horrific, horrible event? Like we've had politicians say it's the worst thing to happen in this country since the Civil War. I think Biden may have said that. And then the rest of us just go, yeah, it was silly. It was like what happens when people are mad. You don't advocate it, but you also totally understand it. That's how I assume every sane person sees it. But what are the numbers?
Sex is like not a big deal.
Half and half?
This is him?
Documentarian. And, when you guys hear something, you guys show up as you do now and ask questions or record and see what happens. So that's what I was doing there.
So there are photos of you reportedly kind of stomping on camera equipment and stuff. Is that you in that picture the FBI is putting out?
I would not like to comment on that at this time, but I'm working everything out with
he's got like
the
nice
courts
tits
and whatnot, and
beautiful tits,
like little perky pear shape.
You don't want to put on a T-shirt when the press is there to interview you.
He has vanilla tattooed on his chest. This guy rules.
He has a what?
A tattoo of the word vanilla. Hopefully he's got a best friend that has a chocolate tattoo. Otherwise.
That'd be cool if you had said, yeah, that was me stamping on their equipment, and if you don't fuck off, I'm going to stamp on your equipment.
Hell yeah.
Like one time, the singer of the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, I thought she was being accosted by some guy who was just bothering her because she's famous. And we were friends. I think Vice kind of discovered the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. We all sort of came up together. So I feel sort of protective of her. And this guy's like, blah, 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 blah. And I think, that's annoying me. So I take a lemon out of my cocktail, and I just aim it, and I just go, boom. Like James Bond, a real James Bond, not the CIA, it hits him in his eyeball.
Wow.
And he just goes, oh my God, oh, He gets up and leaves. And I was just like, That was easy.
That's surreal.
Look up Yeah 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 singer. So then her like stylist lady who does all her clothes goes, "Did you just throw a lemon in Chris's eye?" And I was kind of ignoring her, and I didn't realize that she was enjoying talking to that guy. That he wasn't bothering her at all. That's her friend Chris.
Oh.
And I was like, "Meh." And she goes, "Answer me, Gavin. Did you throw a lemon in Chris's eye?" And I went, "Yeah, I did. And if you don't fuck off, I'm gonna throw a lemon in your eye."
Like that's your move.
That's the deal.